NXT 2.0. It is December 28th, the last NXT 2.0 of the year 2021. The go-home show for New Year's Evil. This is the Wrestling Inc. podcast. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, joined by NYC Demon Diva Issa. Issa, I feel like with our other project, we spent the holidays together.
I feel like I talked to you more than anybody in the last week. It's insane how much I've been speaking to you, but I'm enjoying it. So
yeah, it's been a blast. So for people that don't know, in addition to our wrestling coverage that we do now on Tuesdays and Fridays, Issa and I we've got 8 hours of us talking on our new podcast about the Showtime series Yellowjackets. We've covered all the way up through episode 7. It's called Yellowjackets Buzz. Google it, find it wherever you listen to podcasts. Go to yellowjacketsbuzz.com for links. Give it a listen. If you enjoy hearing the sweet sounds of our voices and our witty banter and repertoire, you will definitely enjoy us talking about Yellowjackets and telling stories of our lives from the 90s.
yes.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yes, it has. And we have been speaking a lot. But you know what we haven't been speaking about is wrestling. So this feels like we're reeling it back to our our nature, to where it all started. NXT 2.0.
Yes, I had to fight myself from opening the show with "What's Up, Citizen Detectives." That's how used to our other podcast I am now after just 4 episodes. But NXT 2.0, the go home for New Year's Evil. Grayson Waller, did you watch Raw last night?
Unfortunately, yes, I did.
Okay, so
he showed up.
Yeah, what's up? So let's recap that because I feel like there's a bit of a crossover element we have to.
He pulled up when AJ Styles was doing his in-ring promo. Now, I don't know if you're aware of this, but some of the roster in WWE is quarantining right now. So Raw was it was lacking some talent. So there was a lot of how do I explain it? Stalling going on last night's Raw, right? So AJ Styles came out to the ring, and the one thing that I remember is that I feel like it took 20 minutes before he started actually wrestling. And one of the reasons for that is because Grayson Waller was supposedly chilling on the front row, and AJ Styles started talking about him on the mic, so he decided to come in and, whatever. He said he couldn't beat up AJ Styles because Apollo Crews and Commander Aziz came out, and this is where we're at.
Yeah. So he's not called up, but this is now a crossover they're doing to promote NXT 2.0 through Raw, essentially.
Or to do more with AJ Styles. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. It was interesting to see. I mean, of all the NXT 2.0 talents, is he the one you'd be giving this push?
Yes, it is the Grayson Waller effect. It's what he's calling it, it appears.
Huh. But him?
Listen, they're seeing something in him. When is the last time that we really saw somebody from NXT come up to the main roster or get somebody from the main roster to come down to NXT? I personally obviously would have picked Tony D'Angelo, Solo Sikoa, but they picked Grayson Waller.
Yeah. Grayson Waller, the love child of Paul Walker and Vanilla Ice, somehow from Australia. God. He's making his way to the main roster. Not Von Wagner, who cameoed on a SmackDown episode and then disappeared. But Grayson Waller.
Yes, Grayson Waller.
Oh, man. So, yeah, he opened up the show tonight. It's weird that we didn't have a Braun Breaker Ciampa big promotional push tonight since they're facing each other again for the NXT Championship. Right. At New Year's Evil. Braun Breaker's expected to go over this time, perhaps become the new NXT champion.
You think so? You think that's what's happening?
Expected by me. Look, you can't have him lose twice to Ciampa.
You can, but really? Yeah, I see your point. No, I agree. I don't know. I don't know if he's ready for that yet, but I agree with you. I don't know that you can have him lose twice unless something goes down.
I mean, Tommaso Ciampa, love him. Inspirational story. Fantastic wrestler. Been a stalwart of NXT. Really helped hold down the brand while a lot of other talents have either graduated or left. But I guess my question to you is, at the stage in Tommaso's career, given how hot or perhaps not he is at the moment in terms of his storylines and his presence, what benefit are we getting of having Tommaso Ciampa be our main NXT champion?
Nostalgia from those of us who enjoyed NXT Black and Gold.
Sure. But I don't know.
That's it.
I like him, but I feel that we need We need something. We need something hot with the main title. Samoa Joe was on fire because look, Samoa Joe got released. He got rehired by NXT. Comes back to NXT, wins the title. Like, Samoa Joe had a lot of momentum behind him, and that was completely it hit a brick wall when he had to relinquish his title. I don't know. I think with Breaker, like, he's not perfect, but at least it's something new. And if we're here to build superstars, he's clearly someone that they believe in.
Yeah, but I sometimes feel like maybe he's trying too hard, but I mean, the heat is there. He's getting the boost. He's getting the chance. I mean, we'll see where it goes. I want to see how he works with AJ Styles, but at the same time, there's nobody that AJ Styles is not going to put on a good match with. Well, maybe
Sure.
Omos, but we'll see about that.
Yeah, so Grayson Waller, then Odyssey Jones came out. Grayson Waller versus Odyssey Jones tonight. Grayson getting the win. Man, I feel like with Odyssey, like, here's a guy who's got so many great aspects to his character, is great in the ring, and he just can't seem to catch a freaking break.
Yeah, I remember when the breakout tournament was going on and we were discussing it. And for a moment, I was certain that he was going to win it. But then I was like, you know what? He doesn't need the win just because of his presence and how they were treating him. So that's when Carmelo Hayes went over. I thought, well, maybe Carmelo, this is the way that we get him a title shot where Odyssey Jones won't need that. His wrestling will get him there. But I was wrong. Like, they have treated him, I mean, they have been booking him horribly ever since he lost at the breakout tournament.
Yeah. Got a backstage segment after Grayson won with Core Jade and Raquel Gonzalez. Jade says they can coexist against Toxic Attraction tonight.
But can they, though?
But can they coexist? So they, they went against Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray in the main event to see who's going to be in the triple threat for the title shot against Mandy Rose and New Year's Evil.
I thought this was good. I thought it was fun for them to put a speculation to the match. I mean, I kind of still knew that it was going to be Raquel and Cora Jade, but it made the main event much more enjoyable because there was something at stake.
Yeah, and tonight, I mean, I haven't seen this confirmed, but was a lot of talent missing tonight due to Omicron as well, either quarantining or not cleared?
I mean, it appears so in NXT, but NXT hasn't really been traveling, so I was expecting for everybody to be there normally. I know that WWE is doing their holiday house show tour, so they're pretty much having a show every night. But I know they took, you know what? Now that came up, Ciampa was wrestling at MSG because of the people they had to pull out, so he might be part of the actual house tours, like the holiday house tour for the main roster right now.
This is what happened when Brooks and Dunn went to those festivals.
Possibly.
Sorry. We have to find humor in this. Oh, my God. I mean, who knows what? I mean, day one is happening. Oh, so, I mean, there are reports about testing and...
I don't like those reports.
No.
I don't like those reports. I don't like those reports. And I did see that Wrestling Observer reported that Roman and I think it was Big E, somebody was that they didn't test positive. They're just quarantining them to just be safe and make sure the match goes on Saturday, which I think is a smart thing to do. But it's also on the same week that you book like 5 house shows. So it's just like, aren't you better off canceling the house shows and protecting everybody? Just saying.
And Nick Khan really wants day one, his baby, to happen Saturday night as advertised. But we'll see how many changes there are to the card.
They're going to advertise it all the way till the end. Remember what they did at SummerSlam with Sasha Banks? Until she had to come out, that's when they were like, oh, yeah, about that. Even though everybody knew Sasha wasn't wrestling, they advertised it until they couldn't advertise it anymore.
Yeah, it's just such a crazy time right now. And it's amazing with wrestling that they're not going back to the Thunderdome era. They're not modifying
NBA is also changing their testing policies to something similar to what was announced from WWE. They had like 80 players come back positive, which is insane to me. But it's just like, you would think they want to protect everybody else, but I guess not.
It's a weird time right now. I feel like everywhere I look on social media, I'm seeing people that I know talking about how they're getting Omicron. And yes, while they're talking about it's less severe potentially, or it's not hitting them as hard as they feared it would, what I think I'm not going to have peace of mind of until I see people a month from now saying, oh, I had Omicron like a month ago and I feel 100% right now and everything's fine and there were no impacts. That's what I'm not seeing yet.
Right. We've been impacted to the point I don't understand. Like it's spreading worse than before, in my opinion. We get phone calls from 3, 4, 5 family members every day that are
Yeah.
now not like some of them knocked down, some of them not getting any symptoms, but they're all positive. And I feel like maybe I don't know, maybe people that had the vaccine because they don't get the symptoms, you don't know that you have it, so you're out
Yeah.
spreading it, not purposely, but I don't know. It feels like worse than it did back in 2020 when everything started. I just don't remember having so many people close to me calling me to tell me they were positive, and this time it's just happening all over the place.
Yeah, it's really nuts. I don't know.
Hmm.
But we'll see. Maybe if this is less severe, things will normalize and stabilize sooner rather than later. But right now, just
Yeah.
everything seems so uncertain. So we did get one high point tonight, and I think this was planned for the show because it seemed ready to go. We got a vignette to Tiffany Stratton. We'll be making her in-ring debut tonight because why? Her
Yes.
daddy told her it's time
It's
to take
time,
NXT
and
over.
that said so. So I was excited. I heard about it on social media earlier on, and I was excited to see what she could do.
Yeah. What do you think of this with MSK and this Imperium promo where we had Walter and Matt Riddle like zooming in to cut a promo, but there's going to be a 6-man tag between the two teams with the two guests next week.
A little disappointed that plans changed. I thought we were gonna see Matt Riddle there, but I think he's out on the road wrestling with WWE, or maybe they don't want him traveling to Orlando. I'm not sure what the situation is there. So I was hoping to see him, but then I was so happy when the outtake is that we're gonna get a 6-man tag next week with Walter and Matt Riddle.
Yeah.
I would be lying to you if I told you I'm not super excited for it and looking forward to it. It was funny the way that Walter and Riddle were kind of going at it through the Zoom call. Like you said, it was just like, okay, this is weird. But the outcome is like we might get two main roster performers coming down to NXT to perform next week, and that may mean that there is hope for NXT 2.0 to get more attention and get booked better.
Yeah. I mean, Walter, Matt Riddle in the same match because they never crossed. Did they cross paths before when?
I can't recall. I can't recall. I don't know if maybe with Imperium when he was in that tag team with Pete Dunne. I really, really can't pinpoint. So I don't remember. But I'm still right now it feels fresh to me.
Yeah. No, I think it's going to be cool. And with MSK and Imperium, I think that'll be nice. Harland
Oh my
versus
god.
Brian Kendrick. No sign of Brian Kendrick, but we did hear his music for like a split second.
Yeah. The only thing that was advertised for tonight, like weeks in advance, we didn't get it.
Yeah, I was looking forward to that. I wanted to see the
I
return of
know.
the rock and roll pirate hobo
Me
tonight.
too. Me too. I was actually kind of excited, and his music hit for, like you said, for like a second. I was like, oh my god, we're really doing this. And then, yeah, no, we're
But
not doing this.
instead, we got Andre Chase. Were you satisfied with Andre Chase as the replacement?
No. But I mean, I don't mind seeing him get his ass kicked, so I was game for that.
Yeah, so Harland, of course, won. We saw a Chase U student come out to the ring, also got into it, into the beatdown. Gato del Fantasma, we were building up this match tonight with Solo Sikoa against Santos Escobar. But let's talk Tiffany Stratton versus Fallon Henley. First off, Tiffany Stratton has like the most elaborate, fully fleshed, rounded out theme song in recent memory. I mean, this isn't just a little loop CFO style or some generic music like recent talents. Like, this is a full song. I was very impressed with this.
I bet you her daddy paid for it.
Yes, well, that makes sense for the character. I wonder if we're gonna find out. She got like, who did the song from Legally Blonde? Hoku, Don Ho's daughter, put out the big bucks. Maybe Avril Lavigne. Why are all my references early 2000? I don't know. Just go with it. But Tiffany Stratton's dad stepped up. This is a banger of a theme song.
Yeah, it was a good theme song. It was a good entrance. Honestly, I was really just trying to figure out what perfume she was spraying. I wanted to see if it was an expensive perfume or like a cheap knockoff of a expensive perfume because I have a theory about her. But I love the song and I love the presentation. I love the gear too. So yeah, I approve. I approve of this entrance.
Let's have some fun with it. Let's loosen it up here and talk about this. So what's your perfume of choice?
I like Valentino, Born in Roma, and I like J'adore by Dior.
Oh, nice. I'm a big fan of Guiarnes, which I only know because at Disney World in the Norway Pavilion, next to my beloved Maelstrom ride that got torn down and gutted for the Frozen ride that is there now. In the Norway Pavilion, they had Guiarnes cologne and perfume. And so you could ride Maelstrom and then go in there and spray a little sample of Guiarnes and smell like the power of Norway all day. My wife got me a bottle of it a few years ago. I'm still slowly going through it. But it is a delightful.
Wait,
scent.
you have a cologne from years ago?
Yeah. It's been a couple of years since my wife got Guiarnes.
How?
It's still good. It's still fine. I packed it up.
Do you not use it?
I do, but I use a little. Here's what I just put a little on the pulse points, dab a little behind the ears. Maybe spray a little mist and just walk into it. I don't want to over. I mean, Issa, my raw, animal magnetism just exudes naturally. I don't want to overpower that with a cologne.
Okay, I respect that.
It's really just about subtle, nice little touch. But Tiffany Stratton tonight, what did you think of her in-ring performance against Fallon Henry, where she did indeed get a victory?
I thought she was great. I didn't know what to expect, so it was good to see her show some muscle. Just going based on her, social media, you could tell that she's very fit and very into working out, but that doesn't make you a wrestler. So I really wanted to see what she could do. And I thought she had a good showing out there. I didn't see any nerves or any signs of, and I know that she's wrestled on 205 Live. I think somebody mentioned. I didn't see that, but I overall thought she looked great. Did you?
I thought she looks really good and almost too good in the way that she seems like the type of female talent that Vince will want to call up to the roster and add to his stockpile of Carmella and Aaliyah and these other women's wrestlers that he has no clue what to do with or how to book, but he thinks there's money there.
Yes. I agree with you on that. And then I remember her calling out Mandy Rose, and I actually got a little bit of she reminds me of Mandy Rose in a weird way. Before the brown hair and Toxic Attraction, she gave me a little bit of Mandy Rose, the Golden Goddess vibes.
And exceptionally athletic. I think she is exceptionally athletic, very strong. I think there's very far that she can go in NXT. And I think her versus Mandy Rose I'm going to be curious how long they're going to give her squashes, but I think when she has competitive matches, that's going to be the question. And this is again, first impressions. I think that her style is maybe a little more like Charlotte Flair when you talk about superstar, gymnastic, acrobatic athlete of a more traditional background, traditional sports and athletics background versus the more independent indie scene female talent that we've seen that's also prospered in NXT, or the Asian female talent that has their own style. I think Tiffany Stratton, her style reminds me the most of Charlotte's in terms of her look and her movement in the ring. So I think it'll actually be kind of a nice change of pace to see her go against some women with other styles.
Yes, I agree. I agree with you, and I think she's gonna be fun to watch and see what all she can do. I think NXT does a good job with their women's division, so I'm hoping that she has a bright future ahead.
Yeah. Oh, Tony D'Angelo on his couch.
Is it just me, or did that couch look too small for him? I mean, I would assume anywhere that Tony sits down at is going to look too small for him because he's just, larger than life. But didn't you think the couch just looked a little small?
It looked to me like this was a very last-minute decision, and they said, Tony, you're shooting this on your phone. Like, you need to shoot this and send this in. For whatever reason, Tony couldn't make it. They couldn't get a camera crew to Tony. So I'm just going to roll with this and not be too critical.
Yeah, and the table kind of needed to be wiped down. I have a feeling that he was... Don't laugh. I have a feeling that he was like... All right, my theory is that he was at somebody's house collecting a debt, and that's when they were like, Tony, we need you to send in this promo. So as he was there probably beating some schmuck up, he was like, all right, let me just do this for my other job real quick. And he cut the promo at the person that he was, I'm telling you, that's what happened, because that's not Tony's house. Guarantee you that.
Yeah, and look what they're doing for Cameron Grimes, all the stuff with mansions and whatnot. Like, you can't tell me EC3 got a mansion to shoot in. You can't tell me for
Tony drives a Benz, as far as we know. Remember, that's where he put the producer. So I'm just saying that table. I maybe it's a COVID thing. I don't know, but I really wanted to get in there with some Lysol wipes and wipe that table. I don't know why, but the soles of his shoes, the bottom of his shoes, very nice. Those were brand new shoes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Edward Cousins is saying he shot it at the waste management office. Now it all makes sense.
Oh, you know what? There we go. Bravo.
Yeah,
excellent citizen detective work.
Yeah. Okay, so Wade Barrett contract signing. When did this become a title unification match at New Year's Eve? Well, the Cruiserweight title and the North American title.
Thank you. So I was doing my stream on my channel today, and I was pre-gaming, and I preview NXT on my streams, and I read that, and I was like, why was I not aware of this? Like, we covered this every week. You would assume one of us, well, not Alfred, because he didn't want to be with us on the last show of the year, but you would assume that one of us would have caught that. Did they just announce that on social media randomly, like today? Because is this the first time I heard this is a unification? If you wanted to get rid of the Cruiserweight title, why not have some fun then and let Joe Gacy win it, back at War Games and do some crazy stuff before you got rid of it?
No, this is absolutely new, because last week Carmelo and Trick were talking about about having two belts. So
right,
and it's the Cruiserweight title that's going. They're keeping the North American title.
Well, we don't know. We're just assuming that Roderick Strong is losing here, I guess, because I literally just assumed that. But I'm thinking Roderick Strong loses just out of revenge because the Undisputed Era is AEW now.
What is happening to 205 Live? Did Nick Khan finally become aware that 205 Live is still on the air? What is happening?
I mean, supposedly there's women matches going on over there, so they might just be testing a different direction to go with it.
Yeah, hey, I'm all in favor of an all-women show. It's long overdue. We'll see what happens. But this is crazy that Roderick Strong versus Carmelo Hayes is going to be title unification. One stays, one goes champion-wise, but it's going to be the North American title that stays. Diamond Mine was out there. They were getting into it with, I like Malcolm Bivens and Trick Williams going toe-to-toe on the mic a little bit. That was really cool. Having Wade Barrett out there was a nice touch. William Regal is just gone, though, now, right? Like, that's not a thing anymore.
William Regal and Samoa Joe were seen at the tryouts this last week. They did some tryouts. So, yeah. So, I mean, they're still a part of it. They might just not be on-screen talent. But I saw the picture, and it made me happy to see them, honestly. I almost cried.
Yeah, no, they're very missed. We got a video package for the different teams in the tag division: the Grizzled Young Vets, Josh Briggs, Brooks Jensen. Oh, that's what Brooks and Dunn's names are. Jacket Time and the Creed Brothers.
Jacket Times is not it. I can't take them seriously.
Really?
Yeah, I can't. I don't know if it was that weird stuff that went on during War Games, but I just can't take them seriously anymore.
That promo with Ika Minjiro is probably the biggest career killer promo, but I think he's going to overcome it because he's really good and likable.
Okay. I hope you're right, Glenn.
I think so.
Okay. Well, as of right now, I cannot take Jacket Time seriously. I'm going to need them to, I don't know, do something differently or start winning some matches or, I don't know, something just to give them some legitimacy and believable factor. Otherwise, they just look like the joke of the tag team divisions. Them and MSK, which shockingly should not be seen that way.
No, I agree. MSK, MSK versus Jacket Time could be an awesome feud. Both faces, though, so that's a bit of a challenge, but I don't know. I think there could be something good there. Solo Sikoa took on Santos Escobar tonight.
Yes, he did.
Zion Quinn at ringside, staring at Elektra Lopez. I kind of forgot Solo was in NXT. I feel like it's been a month since we've seen him.
No, he's been wrestling. No,
has he? When's the last time he wrestled before this?
I thought he wrestled last week.
Did he?
Or the week before? Yeah, he's wrestling within the last 2 weeks. It's just, I don't know. I think all of his matches felt like the same up until this one.
True.
This was competitive, and it should have been. It was Santos Escobar, but you keep booking Santos Escobar in matches to lose. So, in my opinion, he's lost all credibility. So has Legado del Fantasma at this point. But I thought this was a very, very fun match.
Well, I think if Tony D'Angelo proved anything last week, it is that wins and losses do not matter, and you could still be the most overact in NXT even after suffering a loss.
Yeah, but what happens when you suffered 80 losses like Santos Escobar has?
But that 81st time, he might get a win and turn it all around. And it's the start of a streak, baby. He's
Okay,
bringing it
let's do
back.
it. Let's
Yeah.
do it. I'm with you, Glenn. Glenn,
He's
you're
just,
so positive tonight. What did you eat for dinner?
it's just, well, we had veggie eat from Summerlin delivered. It was, had like vegan Mongolian beef and vegan broccoli beef and like some really good hot and sour soup. So I'm
It
well,
must have been really yummy because you're like awfully positive about everything tonight.
I
And I
just,
appreciate that.
hey, we got to bring some sunshine. The world is full of doom and gloom.
And this
But
is our last NXT recap of the year.
it is. It has been a hell of a year, and it's weird that we just started doing these together this year. I was thinking about that the other day. That it was like just in March that we started, March and April that we started doing these, and
Yeah.
it's been great. It's been a lot of fun. Love doing this with you and Alfred. I mean, obviously, I like podcasting with you. We're doing a whole other podcast now
Yeah.
together. But no, it's been a lot of fun. I love our community. You know, I think that. I'm starting to get this vibe though. It's like we all want better for NXT, and we're all in this. We're all committed to it. But this is like the opposite of like a dysfunctional relationship or like a toxic relationship, like we have with Raw or SmackDown. Our relationship with NXT is like you're dating somebody, and you're just saying, "I just see so much potential in you." And yeah, you're going to stumble from time to time. And yeah, you're going to screw it up. And maybe that's not the most flattering haircut. And maybe, you've got some ideas, but you're wording it wrong. But, you're a fixer-upper. We're going to work on this together. And we're going to both become our best selves through our love for one another.
Yeah, but do you remember back a few months ago when we discussed what relationships we had with wrestling and NXT was your main relationship? I bet you it's not there anymore.
It is, but hey, relationships are about ups and downs,
Yeah, I see your point. All right.
It
I appreciate your positivity and you keep me believing in NXT. I want you to know that.
and maybe that's part of it. He says maybe it's that NXT was our main and it was new and it was the honeymoon phase, the what did the New York Times say today? I have to call this out because it was saying marriage requires amnesia. You have to be able to forgive, you have to be able to forget, you have to be able to compensate. And I think that now that we're settling into our LTR with NXT 2.0, I think we just need to learn to be supportive and know that there are better days ahead, as long as we keep that fire alive.
You know what? I'm gonna take in your energy today, and I'm gonna go with you and agree. I agree with that, but I think Santos Escobar has suffered a lot of losses, and something needs to change. Whether he splits from Legado or something needs to switch here, and maybe Electra's gonna leave them. I don't know, but something has to change for him because otherwise he's just looking like a job ring. He was so big, a few months ago.
That's the problem with NXT right now. I mean, honestly,
50-50 booking for everyone.
Well, 50-50 booking. But then in addition to that, you either graduate or you not only get left behind as far as your prospects for the main roster, you kind of get left behind with NXT getting bored with you. And so you're there and you're being used, but you don't have momentum,
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. You're right.
So I don't know. I want to see things work out. Solo Sikoa, though, and the part of the reason why I say I forget that he's there, Solo Sikoa looks like, I cannot remember the last time we saw someone that looked so main roster ready out the gate.
I think they look main roster ready as soon as they're conceived. As soon as the sperm enters the egg, they look ready for the main roster. Guarantee you that it runs in their family. But yeah, and it was funny. I was watching it with my mom, and she was like, when she first looked, she was like, "Why is one of the Usos there?" And of course, because she saw AJ Styles pop up, I mean, and then Matt Riddle, she probably did think it was really one of the Usos. I had to explain the family tree to her.
Oh yeah. Harland and Joe Gacy almost threw an Andre Chase U student off a roof.
I really thought they were gonna throw him. And I found myself screaming, "Do it!" Because I'm dark like that.
I did think they were going there. I thought they were pulling back with an angle where they could still throw him on the roof and make it look. Right. I thought they were going to have like a dummy going. I thought they were going to go all out with it. And I'm a little disappointed they didn't. So I'm with you there.
Yeah. I was just like, why go there if you're not going to go through with it? It's a tease.
Okay, so Solo Sikoa though, look, Santos Escobar, this was a good match tonight. Solo
Yeah.
earned that win, but Solo versus Boa, like, okay, if Solo's sticking around, I mean, let me put it this way: if Braun Breaker wins next week, Braun Breaker better watch out because I think Solo Sikoa is going to be NXT champion sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I agree. I 1000% agree with you. He has the ingredients for it. And maybe they don't want him feuding with Ciampa, but I can see him going for whoever does take the title off Ciampa.
What do you think of Von Wagner beating Malik Blade tonight?
So Von Wagner's pants, I know I mentioned this before, but
Wagner's pants.
I love how you're already laughing before I even finish my sentence.
That's like a great name for like an emo band, Von Wagner's Pants. Like,
they look like mesh. Like they
yes.
they will play like, I don't know actually. What would they play? You're the music expert here.
Like math rock, like weird, like 6/8 time signatures with a lot of changes and like lyrics about books they've read. You know,
Von
not
Wagner's
even about relationships. Yes.
Yeah, would you go to their music festival?
Oh god, I just think it would be one of those shows where they just stand in place looking at their shoes the whole time, and their music would be so experimental that when they tuned their guitars, you would say, "Are they tuning their guitars, or is this a song they're playing?" You wouldn't know because their music is that experimental.
Wow, they're ahead of their time. Von
Wagner's pants. See them at Coachella in April.
If it even happens. But
yes.
His pants are like, they look like mesh and they're so distracting to me.
My wife also made ample comments about Von Wagner's pants.
Really? I'm so glad. I love hearing that. I love hearing that because I could not focus on anything other than his gear. It's weird and I don't know.
Yeah. But he won against Malik Blade tonight.
Yeah, but he lost against him last week. So what does that do?
Yes. This is where it's easy, by the way, to get a depressing attitude. Like, what does it matter? You win one week, you lose the next. Maybe you go to the main roster. Maybe you're stuck here forever. What does it all mean?
The struggle between your positivity and my mood today is incredible.
Are you still down because of Yellowjackets Sunday night? Because I'm tense, man. I'm tense waiting for that next episode.
Yeah, I am. I'm still kind of sad. I watched it again, by the way. Did you watch it again?
I've gone through it to get screenshots, but I've not watched the whole thing start to finish again. But I got more theories, so we'll see what happens.
Can't wait to talk about it. But I watched it again, and it was just as impactful as the first time.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I don't know if we're doing the day one coverage, but when that podcast ends Saturday night at like 10:05 Pacific, 1 a.m. and 5 minutes after Eastern, Issa and I are going to do a live reaction to the Yellowjackets episode 8, and then we're going to do our recap podcast the next day with a very special guest. But it's going to be day one, and then right into Yellowjackets. It's going to be a packed Saturday.
Yeah, it is. You better bring your alcohol.
Yes, our Malibu and milk. Hojo to go Belinsky, $5. The Sikoa mix of Godfather's Kama and Ludwig Borga, just in Samoan form. Someone looks like his dad, Wayne Bloom. Hojo to go Belinsky. I can't even with you, but you win the super chats.
That's it. That's what we do this for those kind of super chats.
We're all thinking it.
Somebody has to say it. Somebody has to say it.
Oh man. Okay, so Idris Inoue pulled Blade to safety after I like the idea of the two of them pairing and doing something together. Wagner, I mean, whatever at this point. The guy's never done it for me, but it is what it is. Number one contenders match, though, for New Year's Evil. Who's going to face Mandy Rose? Cora Jade and Raquel Gonzalez versus Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray. And I believe Cora Jade and Raquel Gonzalez were originally scheduled to face Mandy Rose.
Yes.
Now they're still scheduled to face Mandy Rose. But
but it was a fun match. It was. I thought it was a fun match, fun main event. A lot of really good spots. I popped out loud for. There was a spot where Raquel Gonzalez picked up Cora Jade and she was gonna throw her onto Kaylee Ray, but then Io just came out of nowhere. I love that. I love everybody diving onto Raquel on the outside, but the main story here is, can they coexist? And the answer is absolutely not. In addition, I just want to say that I'm extremely invested into Mandy Rose's pool and what color the water is going to be every week. So I hope that every week we get a promo from her at her pool, because last week it was green, this week it's blue. So I'm looking forward to it becoming pink, purple, yellow,
Did we confirm she's on a secret vacation with Otis and they're rekindling their love affair?
I mean, it's a possibility Otis was, in fact, at Raw last night, but he
Ooh.
could have easily just flown right back and be with her.
Hey, for Mandy, you take the overnight flight.
Oh, of course.
You put in those miles, you put in those hours. But no, yeah, so the lights in the pool, though, that's a nice touch. I don't have a swimming pool. This makes me think I need to get extensive color-changing LED lights if I can ever afford a pool.
Yes. Last week, it looked like it was like a radioactive pool, like the green. It was weird. Today, it was more vibing. It was more of a vibe. The blue, I like the blue more than the green. But I can't understand why I'm so invested in this, but I am.
Yeah. This was a really good match, though, and I like that this went over a little bit. This was really, really good. I think so. With Core Jade and Gonzalez, this is good though, because even though they won this match tonight, I mean that's what makes it a true triple threat. If they were on the same page, there's no tension in this match. I think that this could go any number of directions, but I do think Mandy Rose retains.
Yeah, I agree. It's funny though, because I love hearing Io tell Raquel she wants her rematch, because I've been wanting Rio. I mean Rio. What? Io. So I just
her name is Rio, and she dances in the sand.
Yes. I do want Io to go back to being in the title picture, and I love seeing Kaylee Ray also mention it, because I remember when she first debuted, she called out Raquel the champion at the time. So, but I do think it's going to be Mandy Rose retaining due to these two not being able to coexist or toxic attraction becoming involved.
Cora Jade, if this was a year ago in NXT, I would say, oh my God, the push she's getting and the win she's getting, like I think she might, they might do this. They might pull the trigger on this. But it's a different regime now in charge of things. And I think Mandy retains because Toxic Attraction still has a lot left they can do, at least till the next NXT pay-per-view.
Yeah, and you can have Mandy pin Raquel because she's done it before, especially there's some cheating kind of way. So you're still keeping Cora Jade protected for whatever it is this push is heading towards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, this was... It was strange to me, even without people being out. This is a weird week, and I use the word weird a lot, but everyone sometimes have to qualify this. This is a weird week because here we are. We've got an exact, almost perfect break between Christmas and New Year's Eve. Many people are off this week. Many things are shuttered. Right. Many people are taking time away. But then on top of that, given everything that's going on in the world right now, it was that sort of thing. My first thought tonight when the episode started was like, is this live or did they pre-tape this? It was like they actually came into work today. And it's, right. I guess, given that they were dealing with a very strange week timing wise and clearly plans changed at the last minute, I do think this was a pretty good episode, all things considered.
Yeah, I felt the same about NXT and Raw. I thought that Raw, even though there was a little bit of stalling given the circumstances, I didn't think it was a bad episode. We all know what they're dealing with. And this week, I mean, there's no good week for any of this to happen, but I do expect lower viewership this week, even though everybody's home. I don't think people are paying attention to this necessarily. So this is a good week to kind of just pull it together and get it over with,
Yeah, and we'll see what happens with New Year's Evil next week.
I'm excited for it. I think the card looks good.
It looks fun. It doesn't quite look like a full pay-per-view, but it does look like a pretty good special.
Right. It looks like a television special, not a typical NXT episode, and I'm down with that. I think that the fact that we're gonna get Riddle and AJ Styles making an appearance, Walter, you have the triple threat match between the women. There's a few things I'm looking forward to. Even Roderick Strong and Carmelo Hayes, just because it's a unification match, you're interested to see what title is going, who's going to win here.
But whoever wins, this is how the Cruiserweight Championship dies. Think about the tournament. Think about 205 Live as a series. Wow. Think about the strange ups and downs that title has had. This is a very, very interesting end for.
I remember when they announced the Cruiserweights were coming back to Raw and the pop that it got and the purple ropes.
Ropes.
The memories.
Did you ever go to a live event and see how quickly they would put that tape over the ropes and then how quickly they would take it off during the next commercial?
Yes. It was distracting.
It was like, whose idea was that we're gonna do purple ropes? So for people that don't know, they had a team of like, I would say at least 8 people out there before a cruiserweight match, and they would do this multiple times in an episode of Raw for a while, putting purple tape over all the ropes and then undoing that. It was nuts for that little touch.
Do you know what their new job is? And now they pick up the cups from the Street Profit entrance because they do it so fast. I seen it. I see when the Street Profit comes out and the cups come out, a bunch of people come out on the stage to pick them up. So I think it's the same. It's the ropes people. That's their job now.
At least they're reusing the cups.
Hey, recycling. We got to protect Mother Earth.
Absolutely. I think Daniel Bryan, that was probably a stipulation during his reign as the Planet's champion.
I can see that, actually.
Oh, my God. Okay, so everybody, last Wrestling Inc. podcast of the year. Thank you for hanging with us. This has been a year of change here at the Wrestling Inc. podcast.
Yes.
Thank you to everyone who makes this show possible. Raj Giri, obviously, first and foremost, this is his site. He gives us the platform. Thank you to Issa and Alfred, my co-hosts. Thank you to Justin LaBar for all the work I've done with him. Thank you to Matt Morgan for all the work that we've done together on this podcast over the years. And thank you to our chat room. We have the most amazing fans who show up in here week in and week out and support us. And 2022, I wish I could say, I know last year we were going into 2021 with so much optimism. Yeah. I don't know what next year holds, but I do know that doing this podcast is a high point of my personal and professional life. And a large reason for that is the time and connection that we get to spend with you all who tune in and week out, who send us messages, who send us DMs, who tweeted us, Justin Lopez sent me a Christmas gift. Thank you, Justin, for that. You all are awesome. You really are the ones who make this worth doing, and getting to know so many of you has been so rewarding. I've been having a great time still doing this with Issa and Alfred, and I think next year is going to hopefully get a little bit back to normal, or perhaps get to a new normal. But I know no matter what happens, we're all going to be in this together.
Hell yeah, Glenn. That was amazingly said. And we thank you. You're awesome. We love you. You know that.
Well, I appreciate it.
I joined this year and I didn't know what to expect. And I got to tell you, I have so much fun talking wrestling with you guys. It's, like you said, a high point. And, like you said, things are uncertain, but wrestling somehow manages to always be there no matter what. So we would always be here too.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing. I think I have to remember, we can have a bad episode of wrestling, but that doesn't mean we have to have a bad episode of the Wrestling Inc. podcast.
Right.
We have an opportunity to make this podcast great, to make this podcast fun, and hopefully brighten everyone's mood a little bit, sometimes despite what they just watched beforehand. So I don't know who is on. Is tomorrow happening? I think tomorrow's happening. Maybe tomorrow's happening.
Tomorrow's happening. I think what we're not doing is Friday, right?
Not doing Friday. It's a recap on SmackDown. Day one, Issa and I, probably not, but maybe. You never know.
Yeah.
Saturday night, we're doing our other thing. And then next week, things should be back to normal because it's 2022. And let me just leave you with this thought. 2022 is as far from the year 2000 as the year 1978 was from the year 2000. So,
holy crap!
Time marches on. 2000 to me feels like it was yesterday, but yes,
I feel super, super old. Thanks for that, Glenn.
On that note, Happy New Year, everyone. We'll catch you back here next time. Follow Issa NYC Demon Diva. That's Diva with a 1. I'm at Glenn Rubenstein, and we'll catch you back here next time on the Wrestling Inc. podcast.